Your video is boring and too long, so I didn't watch it up.
To sum up this video, we'll be going over the different types of armor classes and which types of armor fall into each class. NoFoodAfterMidnight has made a very easy to use ammo and armor chart detailing which types of rounds can go through which types of armor. To see the most recently updated version of an armor, you can go to the EFT Wiki to see all armors and their armor classes. Also, you can see stats like ergonomics, turn speed, movement speed, etc. Finally, you can use these two resources together to see which bullets your armor will stop and which ammo you'll need to beat each armor. Before we get into the main part of the video, I offer you a thesaurus. According to the source, there will be a list of armors next to their class levels, currently 2 through 6, and each type of bullet that can penetrate that armor class will be highlighted in a blue box. Since many armors are in the same class, I decided to rank them for you based on their underlying stats, like what areas they cover, how they affect your speed, and so on. Finally, when a new ammo subtype is shown, there will be a large red X over the ammo if none of them can penetrate the armor class. But if every type of ammo shown can penetrate, then you'll see the OK symbol. For level 2 armor, we have only the white module 3M armor and the black P.A.K.A. armor. While P.A.K.A. may be a bit harder on your overall ergonomics, it boosts a slightly higher turn speed along with a higher durability. Remember, all the information that I cover with these chest armors and ammo types can be found categorized and easy to find over at the game's wiki online. I cannot stress enough how much of a valuable resource the wiki can be to new players, since it covers the basics of just about all in-game information. Those looking to farm 3M or P.A.K.A. can most easily do so on the factory map. To passively farm the armor at a lower level, you can simply scav into factory, accidentally friendly fire an AI or player scav for armors and backpacks, and carry out as much of the necessary loot that you need. In this case, we'll pretend like you're exclusively looking for armor, lol. In general, level 2 armors will be normally only used by those with either bank accounts close to 0 or low level players who have no better options. The 3M and P.A.K.A. armors may stop a lot of the pistol rounds like many of those in the 9x18 and 9x19 subclasses, but it stands little to no use to most other types of rounds. Most likely, any player you run into with a gun better than a pistol will be able to shoot through your armor like it's butter, but I will admit even level 2 armors give a great advantage when it comes to combating AI scavs. So for those looking to get early quests done to get higher level traders and such, I recommend putting on the armor if you have it. While some scavs may be able to shoot through it, it'll still sometimes be the difference between the killed by screen and the you extracted screen, and trust me, there's a big difference between those screens. For level 3 armor, we have the blue Untar, the ZHUK 3 press armor, the ZB23 1 edition, and finally the Coraza armor. Blue Untar armor is quite easily the worst of these armors in every stat, those being durability, turn speed, movement speed, and ergonomics difference. ZHUK and ZB23 seem to be pretty similar in stats, but while ZHUK may have a slightly smaller durability, it does have only a -5 ergonomics rather than the 6B23's -9. The Coraza, however, is undoubtedly the best armor in this subclass, and since it starts with a 70 maximum durability, those who tend to survive more often can expect to use this armor quite a few times before it becomes quote-unquote useless. In-game, Untar is probably what you'll run across the most often, and if it happens to be the only level 3 armor you have, then yes, I would always recommend running it before any other armor class below it, like P.A.K.A. or 3M. The press armors can be found on scavs across all maps, but generally seems to be quite rare, at least currently. Additionally, the 6B23 has quickly become a new favorite among players, as it is much cheaper than the Coraza. Finally, the Coraza seems to spawn just as often as the others in this subclass, and I'd argue that you should never be buying this armor fresh from traders, and it is way too large of a money hole. With level 4 armor, there are again 4 different types currently in the game. If you highly value ergonomics, then you want to use 6B13 over 6B23 every day of the week, except for Sundays though, because that's the Lord's Day. But otherwise, both 6B23 and Gazelle armor are very similar in stats, more or less equal, with a slight advantage however going to Gazelle. But Trooper armor for sure is the new star of the armor class 4. The downside of the Trooper armor however is that it does not cover the stomach like the other 3 armors, which cover both the chest and stomach. These armors, however, are not as common in raid on scavs. You do have a slight chance of spawning in with one on your player scav, and you can occasionally find them across AI across all maps, but the best place to run into and farm this subclass of armor is to go to labs. The Ravagers here often spawn with all 4 types of these armors, but most often the Trooper armor. A general good strategy to earning this type of armor in game is to take little gear to labs and hope to get out with a set or two to run on other maps. It's always good to treat the labs map like an investment option with a very high fail rate. But if you bring a cheap gun enough times, upgrade to a better kit as soon as you down a Ravager, and head for the extracts as soon as possible, you can both farm all the in-game equipment you'll need for other runs, and acquire a large bankroll as your stash becomes full, and you begin selling to the traders. Again, we have 4 different types of level 5 armor to choose from. Where normally the rankings for these armors also coincided with whichever's maximum durability was the highest, now we have a slight toss-up by rating Gen 4 Mobile as the last spot in this subclass. The 6B 13M armor, aka the Killa armor, has very good underlying stats, quite easily being the best movement speed and turning speed of any of the armors here. Also, because Gen 4 Assault can protect so many areas of the body, those being the chest, stomach, and arms, it really can be considered in the A tier list of armors as it can just take so damn much. Despite appearing much larger, the Gen 4 Full actually covers the same areas as the Gen 4 Assault, but has a slightly higher durability. The Killa armor can be found in only 2 places. First, it can be found on the boss Killa lurking across the central route of the Interchange Mall. Second, it can be found on bad players who were unable to extract alive with it. Also, Gen 4 armor will only spawn on the Ravagers and Labs, with only the rarest of exceptions where a random normal scav just happens to have an amazing armor on. But the spawn rate on AI scavs for this armor class is so low that it's basically nothing to bring up at this point. Other than labs, the easiest way to acquire these armors is to save for barters with your traders, since they are very expensive to buy straight up. Finally, there's the level 6 chest armor, those 2 options currently being the Z-Hug 6A heavy armor and the 6B blah 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 blah, aka the 4 armor. Here, Z-Hug falls behind slightly by not being able to cover the arms and having slightly lower durability. However, its stats do truly make it shine as a S tier armor. It has stats similar to Killa's chest armor while being both greater in max durability and having the least negative impact compared to other armors. However, I am going to have to rate 4 armor as better because it's 4 armor, it always has been the best armor, and it always will be the best armor. End of discussion. Level 6 is currently the best armor class in the game and can stop most bullets, except only for the best possible assault rifle rounds and very particular sniper rounds. However, any pistol/machine gun, and honestly most guns in general except for endgame tiered players, has a little to no chance of ever making it through this armor, and users of such weapons should at that point just target the legs. A general principle that can be followed for this game is to almost always wear your best gear and always be on red alert if your main goal is to survive the raid. This is why 4 armor is generally considered the best armor in the game, since it covers the most amount of limbs that a chest armor can cover, and happens to be the highest in game armor rating. A lot of the time, lower level players seem to run into the guy in full gear with a fort and Alton in factory, who just camps and mows everyone down. But that's kinda simply because they've realized that using their best gear is the #1 way to increase your odds of getting out of any map alive. Well, that basically wraps it up for me, and I'm sorry for taking like a 9-day hiatus, but since this video was a little bit longer, it did take a little bit longer to make. But I seriously want to thank you guys for subscribing and liking and viewing all my other content. That really does mean a lot, and I'll just try and keep making okay content. Other than that, have fun!